Deadpool! We have Deadpool for Unmatched. Deadpool is a single character set here, as we can see in this box. Saying that Deadpool's a little different for Unmatched is an understatement. The whole theme of this set is basically that Wade found out that they were not making a set for him, so he proceeded to create his own Deadpool deck. So all of the cards and the artwork are all stolen from other things. He has taken cards from other Unmatched characters. He has taken like trading cards and receipts and IDs and business cards and any other random things that he could, and has turned them into cards for this game. And also with Deadpool's kind of fourth wall breaking meta humor, you're going to get a lot of that in here, that there's going to be a lot of non-game related things that come into effect with his deck. One thing I will address real quick about the humor in here, Deadpool in the comics and in the films has a very crude humor at times. It's very adult. And so there's some questions from some people about exactly what level the humor would be at in here. Pretty much the answer is that this is going to be family friendly. They did not push that aspect of Deadpool into this game. The worst they have is him taking Alice's Eat Me card and using that as an insult. And that's as bad as it gets in here. So let's go take a look at what all we get in this. We have, of course, all the brilliant artwork in there. We have this homemade looking health dial, which looks like it is made from duct tape. We do get this wonderful Deadpool mini here with the red sparkly base and Deadpool holding the bomb. All of the nice Deadpool features on there. We'll take a look at Deadpool's character card, and yes, this is his character card. The back of it is pretty much your standard card that you're used to, but this looks like Deadpool made this thing himself. We see that he has a movement of 2. That's not unusual. What is unusual is that health of 10, which we will get into just a bit when we look at his special ability. After you attack, Deadpool recovers 1 health. So Deadpool has a very low health, but he can recover health very easily. Oh, the second special ability there for Deadpool is also, if your opponent's real name is Logan, all your attacks are +5. Because, yeah, of course, Deadpool would do that to someone named Logan. And then down there where it lists the sidekick, he's like, what were you expecting? Negasonic teenage, too busy, snapbook, Twitter gaming. Nah, just me, myself, and yo mama. Yep, this is Deadpool, guys. Okay. So, Deadpool's deck. Well, first of all, we got this nice, looks like homemade duct tape Deadpool logo there on top of another Unmatched card with the red Unmatched logo kind of hiding out there. And instead of just saying Deadpool in the bottom, it says the Merc with the mouth, because of course it does. I like that the copyright is just written on there, like it's written on with pen as well, instead of printed in and a nice pretty font there. Deadpool has 30 unique cards. I'm gonna go over all of them, just kind of breeze through a lot of these. I'm not necessarily going to show you all of every card here. I'm going to talk about the effects on the cards. There are a lot of jokes and gags on here. I'll show you a few of these cards, but I don't want to ruin all of the gags, so I'm not going to show you every single one of those. But the effects on his cards basically go into 4 different categories. Okay, you have some cards that one in there that just has no effect on it, just like any other card that doesn't have effect. You have cards that have just like your regular normal effects. You have cards that have nonsense effects, like the aforementioned Eat Me card, which just has you say Eat Me as an insult to your opponent, but does not actually do anything in the context of the game. It is just a completely nonsense, non-effect. Then you have some that rely on non-game things, kind of fourth wall breaking meta stuff. And you've got a few of those in there, and that's going to be things like if you make an explosion sound when you play this card, it has a different value, or if there's food on the table, the card has a different value, or if you own the set that they're playing with, your card is a different value on it. So stuff like that. I'm gonna show you from the Unmatched Maker website here, where they have an Unmatched database of all the different decks, and we'll show you what Deadpool's deck looks like. Now you can see Deadpool has a gob of attack cards. He has 11 attack cards. He only has the 4 defense cards. He does have a good bit of versatiles in there, so it's not like he doesn't have any defense. And then he's got 4 scheme cards. Now, if we were to take the kind of non-game related effects and assume that you were to get all of those, then the values would change to this here. This is basically what Deadpool's deck would look like if you were to get all of the non-game related effects. So you can see he's got some pretty good values there. He's going to have 2 versatile cards that are basically 5s. Okay, we've got his attack cards. We've got one that is an attack of 6 with no effect. This is basically made to look like a trading card of himself that he just put the 6 attack on it. The 6 is a good attack, but he's only got the 1. We have one card here that is an attack of 2 that has a nonsense after the game effect. The next one is an attack of 5, which has kind of a non-game related effect of dealing 1 damage to the opposing fighter. So it's a 5 with a potential 1 damage afterwards. We have another one with a nonsense effect on it here. It is an attack of 1, but if you make an exploding sound when you revealed the card, it is then a 4. And of course you can see it's an exploding card because he put the little property of Gambit, do not steal Wade. This will most of the time end up being an attack of 4, but once again, if it were to get fainted, it would just be the 1. We have an attack of 4 that if you won the combat, you can deal damage to opposing fighters adjacent to the opposing fighter that you're fighting. That's a very different effect. We have an attack of 4. Move the opposing fighter 1 space, just 1. Deadpool felt the need to point that out to you. An attack of 3. After combat, draw 1 card. We have this one, which is an attack of 3, but you can play it as a ranged attack. This is the only card in his deck that can be used as a ranged attack. So if he ever uses this as a ranged attack, you pretty much know what it is. And of course, this is Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, ID card from the Xavier Institute. I think we are to assume that Deadpool palmed this somehow and kept it. An attack of 3. After combat, your opponent discards a card. If you won the combat, they discard 2. We have this card, which is Medusa's Gaze of Stone that he just went and put into his own deck. That's to go off of this comic here where he was able to get Medusa's head and use that as an attack on people. And since we already have Medusa in the game, why not steal her card there? And this guy here, which is a 1, which is cha-ching. During combat, you may boost this card This is meant to be like a credit card. Going into the defense cards, his 4 defense cards. One of those defense cards has a nonsense effect on it. That is the Eat Me card that I mentioned, which is just a defense of 2. This one is a defense of 5. Now that's pretty strong. There are very few 5 defense cards, but this does have, I've been hacked on it, and after combat your opponent looks at your hand and chooses a card for you to discard. It's an attack of 5, that's going to block a lot, but your opponent also gets to pull a card out of your hand. We have a defense of 3, recover 2 health, then if you are at full health take 2 damage. So don't use this when you have 8 or 9 health. We have a defense of 2. After combat, move to any space in your zone, because it is Deadpool's transit card. Because, of course, a transit card is going to, let you move to a different space in your zone. Going into the versatiles. We have 3 cards in the deck that have just non-game related effects. 2 of these are 2s, one of them is 3s. This one, you're supposed to have your opponent write their name on the card, and if their name is already on it, then this turns into a 4 instead of a 3. So if you're going to let people write on your card, that is up to you. We have 2 more that, depending on things, could go from 2s to 5s. We've got Timeout, which is versatile of 0, but its immediate effect is look through your deck and pick a card you can play, discard, and play that one instead. Yeah, that could really work really well for you there at the right time. Okay, Deadpool has 2 feints, kind of. He's got Dracula's feint that he just turned into his. Then he has Super Feint. It is a versatile of 4. This card can't be canceled, and you cancel all effect on your opponent's card, and after combat, draw 1 card. We have versatile of 3, which is look at your opponent's hand and recover a health. We have a versatile of 3, draw a card and recover a health. We have a versatile of 3, if you attack, to deal 1 damage to the opposing fighter. A versatile of 2, deal 2 damage to the opposing fighter or move your fighter up to 3 spaces. We have push to teleport. A versatile of 2 with a boost of 6. It has an after combat of draw a card, but I think most of the time you're going to be using this to either boost Deadpool's maneuver, or you're going to be sticking this with that 1 card that lets you boost the attack to get that. Now, it has already been pointed out that if Sherlock were to ever manage to catch you with this card in your deck, I mean, for a hero that only has a maximum of 10 health, taking 6 damage from Sherlock pulling this thing out because of that ridiculous boost value, yeah, that wouldn't be good. Now, Deadpool Schemes. I'll go ahead and show you all these schemes. The first scheme is Feint. F-A-I-N-T. Feint. Huh? Tip your figure over, make a fainting noise. Recover 2 health, reset your figure. We have Sweet, which is move to a space in the yellowish zone, then move to a different space in the yellowish zone. As you can see, this is a Candyland card. That's why you're jumping from 2 yellow spaces. Stick a card from Candyland. We have Holy Mackerel. This one is basically guess the name of a card in your opponent's hand. Your opponent must discard all cards with that name. Otherwise, they say go fish and you draw a card. I mean, it's go fish. And like, this could be useful. I mean, you could use it to just try to weed a feint out, but if you're playing one of those characters that have very specific cards that you're worried about, you could get rid of a Forever Hide or a Beast form, or get rid of some of Sherlock's nastier cards. And Deadpool, if you manage to get this card and some of the others, you've got some cards that let you look at your opponent's hand. So, you could definitely, if you're able to pair this at the right time, you could pull some Sherlock-like shenanigans and manage to wreck your opponent's hand a little bit. And the last one here, Dumpster Diving Deadpool. There's a reason I saved this one for last. It's shuffle 5 cards from your discard pile into your deck and recover 1 health. So this is taking cards from your discard pile and shuffling them into your deck. So that's basically 5 cards that you've already played going back into your deck. So you can get some of those feints back. You've got a lot of strong attack cards, so I don't know which ones you would necessarily want to go for in there. There's not going to be any means of putting this card back in your deck because while you're doing that, this card is going to be out and not going to be in your discard pile yet. So you can't put it back in there and like reuse this thing. They thought about that. So, okay, looking at Deadpool here, what can we do with Deadpool? Okay, so there's 10 here. You catch Beast Form, Forever Hide, Gaze of Stone. You get one of those big ones at the wrong time. I mean, they could just completely end you because the highest you'll ever be is 10. Yes, you can heal really, really easily, which will help negate that some, but you're never going to be able to go higher than 10. And so that is one thing you've got to think about. Another thing with Deadpool is this really erratic deck. And it's basically gonna mean 2 things with this crazy erratic deck. It means that your opponents are not gonna have a whole lot of idea of what's coming because he's got such a wide swash of cards here with a bunch of different effects. The other side of it is going to be whoever is playing Deadpool is not going to know what cards are coming because this is really going to be very erratic. It's probably going to be a lot of fun. He's going to be really fun for like new players because of like all the crazy nonsense stuff going on in here. We'll see how long that value actually holds up. We'll have to see as Deadpool is played much. Is he going to be a character that people will want to continue to play a lot? Is he going to be a good, strong, usable character? Or is he going to be something that will get tiresome, that the jokes wear off and then there isn't a lot there? I think looking at him that there's enough there that he could potentially be really useful. I think Deadpool is going to be one of the more swingy characters. Someone more like Lil Red that just really depends on what cards you get out of the deck and when they show up. And while it is true that most any of the fighters in Unmatched can do really, really well if you get the right cards drawn, I think Deadpool is going to be more so into that. But I think the downside of it is going to be that if you get the wrong cards, he can go very, very quickly, especially with that low health that he has. If you just start off without a lot of good defense or versatiles and someone attacks you really early, I think that can really just get you into a bad spot where you're not going to have much health left and you're going to be struggling to try to fight and stay alive. So anyway, that is a look at this crazy Deadpool thing. Go down into the comments and tell me what you think, because yeah, this guy is something. Give it a thumbs up and a like, and also take a look at the other videos that I have on my channel so that you can see about the other characters, the other things related to Unmatched, and all of the matches that we have played through in the Summer Legends tournament. And take a look at all of that.